Today's guest on episode 11 of the Tone Countrycast with Tim Holland is a multi-award winning singer and songwriter who is 1/3 of Australia's most celebrated country trio, the McClymonts, as well as being part of the husband and wife duo, Adam Eckersley and Brooke McClymont. The McClymonts, who we are going to talk about specifically today, have enjoyed incredible success since the release of their debut EP in 2006, with over 250,000 album sales and over 20 million streams of their music. They have gone on to achieve 1 platinum and 2 gold albums. They've received 13 Golden Guitar wins and 2 ARIA Award wins, as well as an APRA Award win. And their new album, Mayhem To Madness, is out this Friday, June 12. Welcome to the Tone Countrycast, Brooke McClymont.
Hello! That was an awesome intro.
How have you been?
I've been really good. Thank you.
How have you been dealing with COVID-19? And obviously, you recently, had a baby.
I know. Look, I've been very busy. So I've been loving it, to be honest. So we've had a baby in January, Adam and I. And then obviously the pandemic started. So I was like, well, at least I get to spend time. The positive, I get to spend time with our newborn son, which has been really amazing. And during that time, we've actually moved as well. So we've just settled in. We've got Elroy. He's all happy. Tiggy's moved, got her all settled too in the new house. We're settled. So it's just about now that we're really, we're in isolation mode and realizing, oh, wow, this is us for quite some time because we've just been so busy and distracted. But no, look, we're trying to think positive about everything, and it has been great.
So well, I guess you're lucky you sort of haven't been sitting at home worrying about, oh my God, how are we going to make money? How are we going to feed the kids?
Well, 100%. And I think, thank God, Adam and I are really good savers. We're great. And we've had to go on the rock and roll. So we've had to, join up to the payments like everyone as well to get us through this really uncertain times. And, we just don't, like everyone, we don't know when this is going to lift and when it's going to end. So we can just keep positive. Adam and I keep saying, and the girls, we keep going, look, hopefully we can get some really good songs and get creative in this time and, hopefully write some bangers while we're at home.
You guys are putting out this new album on Friday. With everything that's happened, not being able to tour when the album comes out and all that sort of stuff, did you consider postponing till later in the year or next year?
It was mentioned with the three of us and Dan, our manager, and the record company. We all were like, are we crazy? What are we doing? Because when you bring out an album, most artists, you tour it. And we actually were meant to be starting touring in May, but that was obviously all moved. So so far it's starting in September at this stage. That's if it all, I feel like, the restrictions are being, we're getting back into slowly things are moving forward a lot sooner than I was thinking. So that's a positive. But we did consider not. But then look, the three of us were like, oh my goodness, it's been 3 years since our last record, and then we started going, but what if everyone starts putting out their records, which is a fair point. At the back end of the year, we're going to probably get lost and, there's going to be so much at the end of the year that we're like, let's just stick to the plan. We feel positive. We feel proud of it. We're positive, and we kind of go at the end of the day, we just got to continue with our lives as normal as possible and without ignoring the fact of what's going on. But it's new times. We'll never forget this period, 2020, the year that was. And it is like our title of the album says, Mayhem To Madness. That we picked that title way before this happened too, by the way. So now that we're going through this crazy COVID pandemic, it's quite fitting.
Fitting, but not initially inspired. The irony.
No, exactly. The irony.
Yes. I think you're right. I think every man and his dog was probably planning to release a new album next year now.
Look, and that's what we thought, and like we said, 3 years in the making for us, because the reason why we hadn't recorded for 3 years because we've all had babies. We keep breeding, and it's like stop. We all got to stop breeding. So we were just thinking we got to continue with our plans. We can't let this thing stop us in our tracks of what we need to do. And look, it's going to have an effect. Surely, but hopefully it'll, you know, people will go out and support it and buy the record. And, I think right now with what's going on, hopefully a whole of Australia and the people, are missing the arts and realizing us Aussie acts, we need their help more than ever, I guess, with people with the support of music. And because I can tell you, it's living in our lounge room at the moment and, watching Netflix and Stan and, listening to music. It's like we are such a big part of everyone's life. And I just hope people realize that during this really strange time.
Fairly obvious that people do want to go out and see music again. And that's a good thing. And they do want to listen to music. And, your album is one of the pretty much the only one. I think a couple of US artists
that's coming out.
It's coming out. I think there's a couple of others in July, but I think you're the first local act to.
Wow.
Tracy Barnes might put one back in April. I mean, it's quite a time between country albums.
It is. It's scary. It is. It's someone's got to be the first cab off the rank, right? And continue with what's going on. Because really, when is this going to end? We don't know. And the thing is, do we wait till it's happened? And I feel like we just got to kind of not ignore what's happening, but at the same time, it's like we're ready to go. Let's do it. We're hoping that we can get back on the road in September. I'm hoping it will happen. But again, we'll just see where we're at with the laws by that stage.
And it looks like in July there might be up to 100 people, so hopefully by September, played 500 people. I guess
and then are people going to come? Where's the line drawn of, people coming out?
I think they will. I mean, if you look on...
I feel they are.
If you look on
restaurants
Instagram...
are being booked out at the moment. Yeah.
If you look on Instagram, people breaking social distancing rules every minute.
Honestly, I haven't stepped outside of our home only to go to the shops. I think I've done it twice. And I'm like, what are you doing? Stay on your sticker. It's like, because it is, I just want this to be done. I want it to go away. I want us to, because I feel like our industry, we are going to the last cab off the rank to get back to making money, getting back to feeling somewhat like we've got a job again. And it's like, please, everybody, you don't realize the impact. We were the first to go down. We were the first brick to fall, really, when this all happened. And we're going to be the last off the cab rank. And I'm like, I really just want everyone to do as they're told, please download the app, do whatever you have to. If you're on Facebook and you're not downloading the COVID app, you're silly. Please just do it because they've got everything anyway. And I want people to know, I want to be told if you've been in a hotspot or whatnot. I just want it to be done so we can try and get back to somewhat normal. I don't think it'll go back to what it was, but I want to get back to work.
Here. You, the three sisters, you all grew up in Grafton. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm guessing you had somewhat of an musical upbringing.
We actually didn't. Mum and Dad had no musical talent in their bodies. We actually thought at one stage we were adopted because we heard them sing one night at karaoke and we were just like, what the? So we don't know where it comes from. Dad reckons his great grandfather could play the fiddle and Mum's like, oh, I can sing. All right. And we're like, no, you can't. But Mum and Dad just really nurtured our talent from a very young age and just, they never looked at music as a hobby. They were like, you can do this, as a career. And so from a very early age, we respected music straight up and going, we can make this a thing. It wasn't, you hear so many stories too of, oh no, mum and dad, I had to have something else, a backup plan. And, I needed a trade behind me. And so for us, it was like, oh, our parents were never like that. We had their 100% support from the very get-go, and they really just nurtured our talent.
So
Yes.
did you sing together as a trio a lot as kids?
Not to begin with, like, we would sing. I remember at the time we would all sing unison. We didn't know how to harmonize when we were really little. But the beauty of back then, when mum used to take us to Talent Quest, we had all that time in the car. And back then we used to bring our tapes. So we put the tapes on and we just would start singing there. I remember Molly and Sam would sing the same harmony note and I'd sing melody. And then I can't remember the transition of when one of the girls started doing the third, like the 3-part harmony. I just remember one day it just started happening and I was like, wow, this is we can do 3-part. But I'm a lot older than the girls. I don't know if people know that. I'm a lot older than the girls, so they keep me
A bit
young.
older.
So I'm about 5-6 years older than Sam. So I'm 5 years older than Sam, 6 years older than Molly. So I was going through high school, and so I actually ended up having a bit of a solo career
Mm.
before the girls
Which
did.
we're going to talk about in a sec.
Yeah, no worries. I can talk about that. But to get to where, so going back to your question, the three of us girls, we did sing together, like as fun, and we did in Talent Quest, but it wasn't really our main focus, I guess, at the time. It was kind of like a real treat when we did do it. It was I think to get us three together at the time, we used to go, oh, we got to sing together. Okay. But at the time, I was really loving singing on my own as well, if that makes sense.
I remember going to a showcase that you did. This would have to have been nearly 20 years ago now in Ultimo.
Yeah, I
So
know.
this would have been a showcase for when you got signed to Universal as a solo artist.
That's right.
And you put out a couple of songs. And I remember you did a showcase in Ultimo and everyone was there and it was fantastic. And then you put out your debut single, a song called I Can't Wait.
Yes, yes.
And Hilary Duff actually ended up
Yes.
recording that song as well.
And she did, and I didn't know that at the time. So I'd brought that song. So when we released that song, it was my single, and then I got a phone call. To be honest, I don't know who it was. Might have been my publisher at the time going, hey, Brooke, did you know that there's a girl called Hilary Duff? And I had no idea who Hilary Duff was at the time. Remember, I was about 20 years old when I released my first single. So I didn't know who Hilary Duff was. And when I heard what she'd done, the lyrics had been changed for her. And I hadn't approved that. Didn't know. And at the time, I'm like, someone's stolen my song and they've changed the lyrics and I don't know what this is meant to be. Anyway, we went around, long story
minor
short,
scandal.
I know, a little bit. And at the time, because I didn't know much about how it all worked back then too, I was really new to the industry. And then the two fellas I wrote it with, Matthew Gerard and Christopher Ward, he wrote Black Velvet. They had rewritten it. I was still on the co-writing credits. I still got paid. They just said, we just bypassed you. You live in Australia. We were working directly with Hilary Duff at the time and the producers of the Disney show. I think was it Hilary Duff? Lizzie McGuire, sorry. That was the show. And they were doing a movie and this song was perfect for them. And look, I'm so thankful because I think it paid for our wedding when Adam and I got married. I remember getting a check, from not my version. My version didn't do great. Hillary's did fantastic. And yeah, it paid for our wedding. And it's actually had a resurgence like this year. And it's making a comeback. So Hilary Duff, she's big pull over there.
Fantastic.
So that song's done.
Have to start sending a Christmas
Has
card.
been really great. Yes, I should actually. I really should do that.
So you put that song out yourself and another song called I Don't Think I Know.
Yes.
What was that experience like? Obviously, I'm guessing very different to now. You were younger. It was all very new to you.
Yeah, and I didn't have much control over it back then. And I was one of these artists too that was happy just to do whatever I was told to do. So I really wasn't in control. Like I wasn't steering the ship at all. There was a lot of input into my career early on. And at the end, I'm happy it happened like that. I learned heaps from it. I learned to find my voice through all that, of if I didn't like it, or I did like what was happening. And then when the girls and I finally eventually, formed as a band, I had learned so much from that solo project that I took in, and being older as well, I had taken on a lot more from there to speak up and ask what I want. But having said that, having the girls with me, with three of us, I don't know, you have more confidence, and you feel like your voice is being validated with the three of you. Whereas when you're on your own, when I was doing the solo project, I I didn't speak up a lot because I didn't have anyone to shoot those ideas through. Where the
Mm.
three of us girls, it's so nice to have the support, I guess, and that's why it's worked. Because if two of us go, oh no, or if one of us is not sure about something, and the other two go, no, 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 it's all good. Here's the reasons why. You go, oh, okay, cool. You've covered that. Where I feel like when you're a solo artist, what I found, and I'm not very confrontational either. I just kind of went, oh well, it is what it is, and I'm not going to fight it. I'm not going to cause any drama. I don't want to be that person. And so I really just left it as it was. But I learned heaps from that time.
From memory,
To
you were
say
kind of being positioned more pop than
pop,
country. Yeah.
yes.
Was
And I went along
you
with
went
that.
along with that,
I
rather
did. And I
than
was
yeah.
Yes, well, and I was happy to do it because I did love pop music,
Mm.
and I did love the crossover pop. Like, I grew up listening to Shania Twain, Trisha Yearwood, Faith Hill, the Dixie Chicks. Like, they were really huge at that time when I was coming out. And again, listening to record companies going, you're gonna be a crossover success like Shania, like Faith Hill, and knowing, not that they said that was gonna happen, but all we've got in our industry, I guess, is hope. It could happen, or you hope it will happen, and it never did. And I wasn't disappointed by that at all. But I started to realize this is just a number. It's all a luck. It's all a timing thing. It's being at the right place at the right time, making sure you got the right song. It's always about the right song as well. And I remember when I did come out in that solo time, there was Avril Lavigne, Vanessa Carlton, and Michelle Branch. Well, we were all same age, and I just got lost in translation, I guess. But at the same time, it really set up, I guess, the three girls and myself as well.
Mm.
Yeah,
S-
I've enjoyed my career. I haven't regretted one step along the way. I've learned from every from every episode, you could say, or every step. I've learned from something from it.
So there was a period there where the three of you were doing your own thing. Sam obviously won Star Maker a couple of years later. Molly, I think, was a finalist in Telstra Road to Tamworth.
Yes.
What was the thing that kind of made you decide to stop doing that and become a trio?
Well, we always said that once Molly finished high school, we'd love to get out on the road and do the trio thing, like try it out. And then it wasn't until Sam won Star America and she got to sing at the Golden Guitars, and Sam had asked Molly and I to do backups for her that night. So we did. And then Lee Kernaghan called us, I think the next day, and said, hey girls, you guys I heard you sing. We said, why don't you three do this together? And like I said, we'd always talked about it, but we never had a reason to do it. So Lee kind of planted the scene, said, I'll give you my whole Outback to Beaches tour. It was, and that back then he was touring 6 nights a week, and it was an 18th month tour. And he said, you can have it, but I want you three girls to, to, to sing together. So we went, yep, done. So we went in the studio and did a 5-track EP, and the rest is history. We went around with him for 18 months, played to his crowd, and our career started there. He basically, I reckon, saved us 3 to 5 years of touring on our own, trying to get our name out there on our own. And we were killing it all across Australia with him. It was just it was a great tour. Lee has helped our career so in so many ways. He was there from the beginning. You
Mm.
could say he kind of kick-started us,
Yeah, I
really.
remember the first time I saw you guys was on Lee's tour. I think it was the Vinegar Hill Woolshed out in Windsor. It's not called
Wow,
that now.
yes.
But
Yes.
that's where it was. And you did 3 songs, and
Yep.
what I remember about that was how polished an act you already were. And I do have this thing where, I think first impressions are really, really significant and make a big difference. And there's a lot of artists that go out and play in front of people before they're ready. And it makes not necessarily a good impression that lasts. What, really stood out for me was the fact that you guys went on stage and really delivered. It looked like you had been performing for years together, and obviously your sisters, so you had been. So, you know,
And we had been performing for years. That's the thing. Like, even if it wasn't together, was individual, but I do clearly remember it was 5 songs. I remember it was 5 songs because we loved it. It was like, it was enough because when people are seeing you for the first time, people get bored. And if you're not good, they go, "Oh, I'm so disinterested. I just want the main act to come on." So we really wanted, that was very well thought out on our end, that we wanted to make sure that we had the 5 killer songs had an EP ready to go so we could sell. Because I think back then Lee was paying us $50 for the whole 3 of us to play, and we could keep our merch. And I think we're selling our EPs for $10. And from the very first moment, I remember we played at Orange, was our first gig with him, played our 5 songs. We killed it. Like, there was a lot of rehearsals. Us girls practiced. You're right. We did. We were polished. We made sure we nailed segues. We did it properly. And then I remember we sold 70 CDs at Orange for the very first night. And so from there, we're like, great, split $10, so that's $700, that's a lot of money for the 3 of us for the night. But then the next night we sold 90. The night after that, we started selling up to 200 CDs per night. We couldn't keep up with the orders at the times. And that's when we started to go, we're onto something here. And I kept saying to Lee, "Hey mate, keep giving us 20 minutes, the 5 songs. It's perfect," because people weren't getting bored and they wanted more. So I really thought that method was actually perfect. And we try and keep that now, even when we tour now with the support acts. That we try and do is, when people haven't heard them before, give them those 5 songs, go out and win the audience over. And if you're good, they'll follow you forever. And that's what we found. Lee Kernaghan's
best you do that
audience has
rather
been
than
wonderful.
start doing Sweet Home Alabama or Taylor
That's
Swift
right.
covers.
Yes. Yes. And we had to do 40 minutes to open up for 40 minutes. Well, we found we didn't sell near enough, or we didn't have the same impact, because I think people were bored. They were like, "Who are these new people? Who are these girls? What are they doing?" And so we were just like, "Nah, short and simple, get them in." And then we've just had Lee's, we've built our audience and our fan base pretty much from there, and it's just grown, which has been fabulous.
So you released the EP. You then, the following year, put out your debut album, Chaos and Bright Lights, and it was a gold album, which obviously...
Back when people bought CDs.
Yes. Yes. Because, I mean, one of the things, I guess, what's happened recently is the unfortunate and really, really sad advent that CMC is not going to be with us as of the end of June. And it was interesting. At that time, really CMC was the only outlet for, contemporary mainstream country music. There was a couple of regional stations that played probably more traditional stuff, but there wasn't a Kicks, there wasn't Triple M Country, there was, iHeart, there wasn't any of that. It was CMC, and so, you guys, I guess, probably got a gold album off the back of that support, but then also that touring credibility that you had already
We
achieved.
did. And we had Universal Records too, well and truly behind us. And I think we were the only country music act. I'm not 100% sure
You
of this,
were
but
at
from
that time,
memory,
yeah.
I think we were at that time. And they gave us a lot of freedom. They kind of let us pave the way a bit. And, we were allowed to experiment a bit. But I think you're right with the fact that Lee Kernaghan we were out there being exposed to his fans. Then you're right. The platform of CMC, we were on, Tim gave us the go and just played, because when new talent, that's the only way that new talent could get through, was on CMC and people finding out about that. So you're right. I think at the time too, and the Dixie Chicks they were there, and we were kind of probably one of the, since a long time. I know there's been many groups in the past going back in Australian history, like that have come through. But I think at the time we were doing pop country as well, which wasn't I think we were ready, fresh. I think Australia was ready for something fresh at the time, and we were ready to go. And yeah, it really just worked. We continued it.
So when did you go overseas? I mean, you toured with Jason Aldean at some point. Was that after the first album?
So we brought out in 2009 or 10 was the Wrapped Up Good, our second album, and that was huge. Like we were
Number
touring.
2, all genres in Australia.
We were touring, I'm pretty sure 5 to 6 days a week ourselves back then. We were touring everywhere. I remember we weren't at home because Adam and I got married in the 2009, and I remember I didn't see him at all in the first year we were married. So I ended up, so we were going back and forth to America at that time, and maybe it was 2011. We ended up going on the road with Jason Aldean, or it might have been 10, 11. And yeah, we actually were the opening act. So we were the first on the 20 minutes, and then Luke Bryan was the support act, and then Jason Aldean. So we were really in with the big wigs over there at the time, and we ended up touring with him for about 5 weeks. And a lot of people over there actually thought that we were signed because we had the bus. And even though we're funding it all ourselves, we kind of yeah, we kind of just went over there, and we'd obviously been performing for so long. So we were, like you would say, polished. Yep, we got up and did it was like we went back to the Lee Kernaghan days, where we're like, oh, this is great. We don't have to do 20 minutes, the three of us. And we're getting a really good, we were getting a lot of support and following from a lot of fans. And then we came home, and I mean, I was in my late 20s by this stage, and I was ready to start a family. And it was like, it kind of just stopped everything, I guess, in America at that point. Cause I kept saying to the girls, I wish we could have done this back when I was in my early 20s, because it would have been completely different, but they were 14, 15, and it was just never going to happen. And then, so everything happens for a reason. We had the best time. It was a great experience. And I have no doubt that the girls and I could have forged a career in America. You just had to do the time over there. And at that point in our lives, we didn't feel like we wanted to invest another 10 years.
Which it would have had to have been,
It had
you
to
have
be,
to
and that's
go
how
and
Nashville
live over
works.
there, and took Morgan
I didn't
Evans
want to
10
miss
years.
out on.
It's taken,
Yes, and I didn't want to miss out on kids, and I didn't want to be that, and I didn't want to have that regret. And I feel so comfortable with the decisions we've made. We all made sure that we were at peace with it, going, if we don't get signed, when we had this, we were going over to sing in front of all these record companies, and we said, if we don't get signed after this trip, we haven't failed. It's just not meant to be. And we didn't get signed, and we were really at peace, but we had to go. That was our main thing. We tried this. We lived there for 12 months in 2010, 11 too. And we really like doing the tour with Jason Aldean, doing all the county fairs. And we just we weren't even hitting the surface of, of how big that industry is over there. And you need money behind you to get you on radio. Like, you need millions and millions of dollars even before you're anybody over there to get you into radio. So learning the game for us there, it was like, this is going to take us a lot longer. And we just didn't want to, I guess, invest that much time, especially when we had built up such a great audience and fan base here in Australia, because, we didn't want to lose that either. So that was our decision that we made back then. And I don't regret it still to this day. I'm completely happy and so fulfilled. And I feel like we're so successful. And, success is on many different levels for people, but we came to peace and go, no, we've got a great life, and we're in control of it too, which is one thing we wanted.
Earn a reasonably comfortable living being an artist, that is absolutely successful, because
that's what we based it off.
And you guys have absolutely done that. The next album, Two Worlds Collide, was another gold album. So were you and Adam dating by then? That was what, 2012?
Oh, we were married. We were married by then. So we were
then?
married in 2009. So that's what I'm saying. So when Adam and I got married, we hardly saw each other at all in 2009, 2010. Come 11 and 12. So we were doing back to back. We were really like, if we were 1 year we were touring, the next we were doing the album. writing the next album. Then we toured that. You know how the cycle goes. It's just 1 year, blah, blah, blah. And we were just like, oh my God, we're so busy. Like, this is never ending. And we're doing America back and forth. And then I come home after that trip from America. We had a massive tour booked in America for the 2012. That's right. 2012, we had a 5-month tour booked through the colleges. That was just colleges alone. This is what I'm saying. The enormity of America, where you can play, it's endless. You can play you'll never not play somewhere over there. It's so huge. And I found out I was pregnant with Tiggy in 2012. So we had to can the back end of 2012 because she was born in November, and we just never went back because I'd started a family and things were really kicking off for us still in Australia at that time too. And we were all really, I guess we we're at that point of finding the work-life balance, which we've continued to this day with having kids and still holding the career down, I guess.
During, the time as a band, you guys have gone off and done other things. Sam has been a TV host.
She's so good at it too.
And you were in a movie.
I
haven't seen this movie. Spin Out.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was a great experience. I'm not an actor. I did a terrible job. It's something that I've ticked off the bucket list. But I was playing a pregnant bogan, and so I had to put the belly on and everything. It suited me, to be honest. I felt like I was playing me for a bit, but it was great. It was a great experience. I don't know how well it did. It was an Aussie flick. I'm sure you could look up on Stan or Netflix or something and it'll be there, but Spin Out. It was great.
And do you think that stuff has helped build the brand for the McClymonts? Sam doing TV, you doing a movie. Has that sort of been was that a motivation for doing that stuff, or did you just want to do it for fun?
I wanted to do it for fun, and I was asked to do it, and I've always been told you should always say yes. Mum always said, just say yes. Like, that movie, Yes Man, just say yes, because you just never know what comes out of it. And if you don't like it, you go through it and you did it, you don't have to do it again if you didn't like it. So I just wanted to I just wanted to do it because they wanted me, and I was like, hey, okay, let's try it out. I was terrible. It's nothing. I have a lot more respect for actors. They were long days, and I didn't even have a big part, and I felt like it went forever. So it's an experience that I'm pleased I did it. But also too, the three of us girls, we've always kind of, we've got our music, which is great together, but we have wanted to venture out and do different things, I guess, individually as well. I think it's healthy and it keeps things interesting as well. So Sam doing I know she's so good at the TV thing. And, I'm actually, I like to do anything. I love radio stuff. I like to talk on radio. I like to, I wouldn't act, probably it's not something I get into, but I wouldn't say no again.
You've done hosting, the three of you.
Yeah, hosting.
I know, hosting awards a number of times.
That's right. That was really fun. That was scary, but it was fun. It's good. It's good to have a new challenge too. And like I said, it just keeps things interesting. And that's why you never get bored in what we do, because every scenario is different.
Now, let's talk about the album, Mayhem To Madness.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing you would have been pregnant while recording this album. What kind of challenges did that present?
You know what? This was the hardest album I've had to sing on, because singing really comes quite easy to me. Like it's not an effort. I love it, and it's old hats, what I know. But this time, because Elroy, my son, he at the time was breech, and we didn't know what we were having at the time. So I was just like, this baby is just really sitting on my diaphragm. It's like, it was right up under where I had to sing. And I just remember saying to our producer, Andy Mack, I'm going, I think this is going to take a really long time to get these takes. I said, because I was running out of breath and I was really big. I was 7 months pregnant and I just was like a massive whale. And I'm going, I just don't know if I'm going to be able to hit the notes either, because I was so scared. There was a few high ones in there. I'm like, what if I break because I was trying to use my diaphragm, but holding the bait. Like I was trying to hold him going, oh, please don't come out now. This is going to be uncomfortable, because I was so stressed, and I'm going, and then I started getting sweaty and like anxious, because I'm like, what if what if I'm not going to be able to sing this record? But I did. It's got a story to it. It was a challenge. But I love all the songs on the album that we've made for this record, and it really reflects where we're all at the moment. And yeah, I'm really proud of it.
You guys seem to complement each other really well when you sing. I think you spoke earlier that you sort of worked out how to sing together. Is that kind of
Always
how it
been like
worked
that.
out? Rather than you
It's
sort of
always
taught
been like
yourselves
that.
to.
I remember a specific time traveling to a talent quest when the girls and I know we finally got that 3-part harmony. Well, I didn't. The girls did. Oh, they take all credit for harmonies. I'm not the greatest harmony because I haven't needed to be, so I don't focus on it. But the girls were so, and I just remember going, how the hell do they lock in and like? It's like we're like this constant, but that's all them. But they follow me, and they've said over the years how, because a lot, they're asked the question, how do you follow? You come off at the same phrases and you know how to do this, and the girls always just say, they just follow my lips. They go, we can just follow Brooke. We know what she's going to do. I don't know. It must be a sibling thing. I don't know how they
Instinct.
do it, but I'm not taking any credit for the harmonies. I give that all to the girls because it's such a hard job, and I think they do a really brilliant job at it.
Absolutely do. One of the songs on the album, "Wish You Hell." Tell us about.
Everyone keeps talking about this one. I
Yeah.
love it.
Tell us the story about this one.
Well, this was written with Phil Barton and Lindsay Rhymes. It was look, I had a girlfriend. We're at that point now, Ads and I, where a few of our friends are going through breakups. We're at that period. There's some are falling off the perch, and it's pretty sad actually.
The first
But
phase
for
of
whatever reason,
divorce.
it is. It's that next, right? And so for us, this one of my friends in particular, she's been with her husband for 18 years. He's done the dirty on it, done the wrong thing, had an affair, and it's just been devastating. But she has been so amazing through this whole process. She hasn't taken on the victim. She's just been like, oh, well, this is just what happens. I mean, they've got 3 children together. I was just looking at her life going, how is she keeping this together? Like, she's putting on obviously a brave face, or this is her. And I was really kind of admired her for it. I'm just going, wow, how, I was trying to think, how would I be through this? And I don't know. I'll never know unless you're going through it, right? Because you don't know how you're going to react until you go through something, right? So I thought, okay, the girls and I haven't written a sad song or a breakup song for a lot of years because we're not in that position anymore. We're all happily married. And I just feel that I can't write a song I can't sing about a breakup because it's not what I'm going through and I don't believe it and no one will believe it. Everyone knows I'm married, right? So this particular song, I was like, I need to sing this. I need to write this for her. I need it to come, even though it sounds like I'm going through, I'm not, because I'm obviously explaining the song and we do in the show. But I needed to explain it from her point of view because this is how she really was. She was just so lovely. She's like, have a good life. I hope it all works out all right and in good time. Because she was just so sweet. I hope you treat her well. And then I just had to say, but I just don't, because she would say, and I wish you well, right? I know she would be like that. But I went, I've got to put my spin on this. If this was me, I think I'd want to say, I wish you hell, because I would just be so furious and just sad and upset. I don't know how I'd feel, but you know what I mean? I was trying to think that. So my little spin came in with the wish you hell part. I was just like, I'll give her all that. The whole thing, she's just been so lovely about what's been going on in her life. And yeah, I just like, nah, I'd have to say I'd wish you hell, mate. So that's how that song came about.
So this is what, the 6th album you guys have put out?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
How has your approach changed from that first record to making records now?
Yes, 100% it's changed. Yes, we had all the time in the world. Like, we used to go to America to record our albums back then. No kids, had all the time to focus in on the music, on writing the songs. I mean, that has not changed, the writing and the focusing on all the songs, but trying to juggle kids. Like, half the time the girls and I we record separate because, Molly's in Wollongong. I'm mid North Coast. Sam's Queensland. We're all over the shop, and we're just like, okay, we just got to kind of, you know, be a bit more organized, I guess, and timeline and frame it better.
How many songs do you write for an album project?
We've usually got about 20 in the bag, and we kind of know from that we kind of do know the 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 bulk of the album, you know, leading probably quite before like a long ways out before we record. The three of us girls, you know, we can usually pick the first seven. There's it's usually, oh yeah, that's great. We agree on the seven, and then it's those last three or four. However, you know, until you figure out how many tracks you're going to put on the album. This one in particular, the new one, we've settled for 10, and we put a cover on this one as well because we'd never recorded a cover before on our albums, and we just were like, oh, everyone responds so great to Fleetwood Mac Little Lies that we sing with the harmony, so we just thought we'll put that on this time. So we kind of just had to, we kind of rock scissors papered the last two for this album that we all weren't sure on, and whoever won, you know what I mean? Because it was just like, that's just how we solve stuff, I guess, the three of us girls. I didn't bother me. I wasn't gung ho and not like having a song there that I didn't want on there. I was like, oh no, I don't mind that. If we can come up with something better, let's do that. But if we don't, that's actually great. But we end up finding something better. And yeah, it's a great 10 bunch of songs.
When you're writing for a record, do you have, you know, a theme in mind for the whole project, or do you just go in and, you know, let's write the best song we can today? Because you know, there are different artists who have a different approach. I'd be interested to know, you know, how you guys approach it.
We kind of, our main thing is to keep it real to us, like the content, like the lyric content. So that's what we try and do. There's no sort of themes or anything of what we go through. It's just really just keeping it true to ourselves is the main thing. But I have such, I love pop country. I love my melodies, my pop melodies, and I really I try sometimes to steer clear of them, but they're just obviously natural to me, and I just love writing, you know, catchy. I love writing catchy songs, and you know, I know it's not for everybody, but that's why music's so subjective, and you know, we can like what we like and hate what we hate, and yeah, I'm just really lucky that we've got fans that still love listening to our music.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, when you go to a McClymont show, you leave it feeling good, and you don't really go to a McClymont show to, you know, sort of assess your life and your moral compass, and you know, whether you should make major changes to, you know, what you do every day.
That's exactly right. We're not one of those acts that you go, oh my God, they really had something really important to say. You know, I know there's a lot of songs that touch people in different ways, you know, that we write about.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're not that artist. We want people, our whole thing has always been, we want people to forget what they're doing from their week they've had, come to one of our shows, forget for the 3 hours that they come to us. Please let your hair down, have a great time, listen to the harmonies. Whereas we're a vocal group. That's mainly what we are. And yes, we write our own songs, but we kind of take, we're pretty lighthearted as well. We're easygoing. I feel, you know, don't take life too seriously, but serious enough. We're serious about our careers, and it's just like, come and just forget about your world while you come and watch us. That's the artists I feel that we are.
What would you say is your favourite all-time McClymont song of all the ones you've written? Do you have one?
You know what? I love singing "Kick It Up." I think because that was the first one that went really gangbusters for us, and I love watching the crowd sing it. And they always, when we first walk out on stage, you always have that one person in the crowd going, "Kick it up, like kick it up," and you're just like, mate, calm down. It's coming. Yeah. It's coming. But I really love that. And I think I like that because I love the reaction that the audience they just love that song. And that's a no-brainer song. There's nothing, you know, fancy. There's no underlying stuff about that. It's just literally having a good time song. And it was one of our big ones. And I love House. I thought that was such a great song. And I really love playing that live. I just love the beat of that one. And yeah, there's actually a few I really like singing. Don't Wish It All Away. I get emotional when I see that, because if I see someone crying in the audience, I'm going, oh, I was thinking about my kids, even though I'm happy to be away from them most of the time when I'm working. But you know, I do love the reaction from crowds singing back our songs. It's really special.
Okay, question I always ask everyone on the podcast: if you had one piece of advice to give a young aspiring artist, what would that be?
I'd say be I hate to say be yourself, but I feel like a lot of people like find your voice and stick up for what you want. So, because I feel like sometimes if you're, it's okay to be different. I've always kind of thrived off that. I like going against the grain and shocking people and not in a weird way, but just not having to do the norm all the time. Really believe in that gut feeling you've got going, no, but I know I'm not doing what everyone else is doing because that is a great thing. And there's only one of you. And I feel like there's enough room for everybody. So just really listen to your gut and if you want it badly enough, go for it. You can do it because there's, like I said, there's enough room for everybody in our industry. And it's good to be the first one on, starting new waves of things because, you don't want the same of everyone else. We're all different. And yeah, I don't know, just really, I guess, a good team in your corner as well. Someone who
Help.
believes just as strongly as you do as well. That's really important.
And who believes in your direction.
That's the big one because I mean, at times it does steer. You get off, you can have, okay, I want to go there, but there's times where it's like, doesn't work out, but you can adapt to it too. Be adaptable as well. But at the end of the day, if you know you're good, it's one of those, you don't want to sound like you're up yourself, but you kind of, you know what I mean? Like I knew at a very early age, I was like, I can sing, I can do this, and I really love it. And there were so many people very early on and still are so important and helpful in our careers. But not everyone actually agrees with what you have in your thought process and what you do. But if you have even that one person in your corner to help you through that, to navigate through that, it can make the world of difference. It really can. It can make or break. But yeah, just go with your gut, I guess, and I guess there's probably more than one there, Tim. Sorry, there was
No,
probably a
that's
lot of
wonderful.
advice in that one.
The good thing about a podcast is there's no time limits.
I know, it's
You can
good.
say as much or as little as you want. It's all good.
Yeah, look, I feel like I've been chatting so much. I'm probably bleeding everyone's ears.
Not at all. Not at all. Very enlightening. Now, Mayhem to Madness. It's out this Friday. It may already be
Woohoo!
out if you're listening to this
Yes,
after it's been
later.
released. Where can you now? I know you're doing a vinyl release. So how can
Yes.
someone get a vinyl copy of the record?
I'm pretty sure you go to our Facebook page or you go to our McClymonts.net and there's a button. You click on that to pre-order. I'm pretty sure we're only making 100. But because this is the first time we've ever done vinyl, if we do sell out of that, of course, I hope they print more because I haven't even got one yet. And I've just got a turntable. Adam got it out. He dusted off. We've had it for years. I didn't even know we had it. Anyway, we moved into our shed and I was like, oh my God, we've got a turntable. So we're on the hunt for records now. So we're stoked. So either go through those channels to find through there. If not, hopefully if we get back on the road anytime soon, come and buy one at a live show. That would be great.
Is that a bit of an indulgence on your part to do a vinyl release? It's always pretty exciting. You're not one of these people who are like really into the vinyl, you know?
I love the vinyl. No, I
Mm.
love the vinyl. I actually, because they're very
Well,
expensive.
yes. And
Like
a lot of artists just
they're
do them because they want to put a vinyl release out,
no,
you know?
we had the record company wanting us to do vinyl from the Chaos and Bright
Mm,
Lights days. And we were just like, we found out how much it was to be up front to buy them because you've got to buy them first
mm,
up front, then you got to sell them. And it was just so expensive. We're like, what if we're stuck? And back then it wasn't really the thing. I feel like it's
mm,
coming back now. So we've went, okay, we'll do 100. If we sell the 100, that's great. But yeah, otherwise you're stuck. It's and especially with the times we're going through now, it's so up in the air with everything.
mm.
So, hopefully, I think we've nearly sold the 100. So there probably will be more
Yeah,
that
and it's
comes in.
interesting. I mean, there's statistics on this about 50% of people who buy vinyl records never actually play them.
Wow, I know they keep them in their case and just
Yes,
leave them
it's
looking
like they
pretty.
put them
Yeah.
in storage because they're too precious to
Yes.
actually play. You know.
Yeah. They might be worth heaps when
Mm,
like in like 50 years time for our kids.
mm.
Mummy, who are the McClymonts? That'd be great.
Oh, I don't think they'll be saying that. I think you guys are household names these days.
God love ya. No,
Mm.
we've had a great career. We've been so lucky. I mean, not lucky. We've worked really hard. I will say that. And we take our job, seriously. We love it. It's all we do. We don't have another job either. So, um, yeah, we just hopefully this COVID thing can really just piss off and we can get back to working. I miss it. I actually miss playing live.
I think we all miss seeing acts like you guys play. I mean, it's very hard for all of us. Brooke, thank you so much.
It is. Oh,
for chatting
thanks,
with
Tim.
me
That was a really
today.
great chat.
Yes, it was. Now, good luck with this album. Hope it. Maybe,
look,
maybe
we're
this
gonna
one could
need
top
it.
the charts, all genres. That'd be exciting.
Hey, we all need it, don't we? We don't know what's going to happen, but hey, we're continuing. Like I said, we're continuing through it, and hopefully people enjoy it. And when this all is stopped, come to a show and see us, and we'll sign it for you. Hopefully, we'll sign you a copy of our album.
Absolutely. Thank you for watching the Tone Countrycast. Remember to click subscribe so you get all the new episodes as soon as they go live. I'm Tim Holland, and I look forward to your company next time on the next episode of the Tone Countrycast.